Another month hath reached its end, and the tomes I've studied have imparted wisdom unto me unparalleled to the brain rot you consume. These are the books that I read in the month of February. Yeah, hey, yeah, hey, hit it, hey, oh, oh, yeah, wait, So you guys asked for more book wrap-ups. I said yes, let me do that. I said yes, let me do that. I was gonna do it anyway, but now you're gonna watch it and you're gonna enjoy it too, so that's really fun. Sorry for being a little bit MIA recently. I don't know. I went on a New York trip and I feel like I'm always sick, so there's that too. I know, Azumah, you should just post anyway. I know. I don't know if you can hear the congestion in me right now, but there's like so much snot all pilled up in there. I'm sorry for all the bodily stuff right now. There's so much snot. But I think we should just get started. I brought this book up in the last video. I said I was going to read it in the month of February. Lo and behold, I did. So I hope you guys are happy with that. We're gonna do a similar thing like we did last time. Not just similar, it's gonna be the exact same thing. It's gonna be identical. We're gonna summarize the words up in one sentence and one word. So the sentence for this one, did I do a sentence and then a word? Or I don't remember the order of things. Guys, I'm a little bit delulu. I'm going crazy off that Dayquil. I'm going one sentence for the hearing trumpet. Happiness is an absurd choice. And I'm gonna keep it with that. I'm very proud of that statement. And in one word, surreal. I did post a TikTok about this, kind of sharing like my base thoughts, because I do want to expand a little bit more on that in my YouTube video, of course, so sorry if there's a little bit of repetition. Where did I write this note, bro? I think it's on my computer. Usually I have handwritten notes, and I do for these other books, so like that's more cute. It's like more cute to like talk like this instead of talking like this. Do you guys like my background? I put this little sticker in there. It's an I'm thinking nice thoughts today. Don't read the review, guys. Spoilers. What are the words to describe this absurd carnival? I'm at a loss. I've genuinely never in my life read anything like this before. Sorry, that is literally word for word verbatim my Goodreads review. Synopsis, sorry. Marianne is an old woman. Okay, she's seen as nothing more than a burden to her son's family, who she currently lives with, so naturally they send her off to a retirement home. Funny thing is about this retirement home, other than like the weird things that are already there, because this book is infused with so many weird things that are like riddles, buried treasure, fortunes. God, I love this stuff. It's really fantastical a little bit whimsical, I would say. I don't know about fantastical, but it is a little bit fantastical, but it's more a little bit, guys, okay, this retirement home has very silly architecture. Like there's one house that one of the women stays in, it's just shaped like a big old boot. You know, like the lady that lives in the big old boot, illusion reference. The real crazy thing about it is that it's run by this like new age Christian cult. I don't exactly understand their philosophy, spirituality that much because I know that it doesn't really align with actual Christianity. I think it's supposed to be a sort of criticism while also being a little bit silly with it. And the rules that all of these women have to abide by because they're living under this Christian cult. They just have to do a lot of work throughout the day. They often subject themselves to a lot of unwanted criticism because these people are like, this is how you should improve yourself. Often just pointing out a bunch of character flaws. Like there was one moment in this book where like the head of the community was talking to the main character, Marianne, and he was like, you're lazy, you're stupid, you're dumb. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit silly. Oh, and the namesake of this book, because I didn't bring this up in my Goodreads review, the namesake of this book is after the hearing trumpet. Main character's kind of eccentric friend gifts to her. It's a big old trumpet. It's not really shaped like a trumpet, actually. It's shaped more like a horn, at least in the illustrations of this book. And there's so much to talk about in this book. The illustrations in this book, I have to show you something. Can you guys see that? That's Marianne over there, and she's holding her little hearing trumpet over here. It's gifted by her friend at the very beginning, like one of the first lines. When Carmela gave me the present of a hearing trumpet, she may have foreseen some of the consequences. Oh my god, immediately that vibe is just going off. I'm sorry, I'm so disjointed right now. I had my Goodreads review is better organized, but right now I'm a little bit disjointed because there's so much I want to talk about that I left out of the review, and I feel like I'm gushing a little bit and it's going a little bit crazy. Marianne is hard of hearing, and so when Carmela, her best friend, gives her this hearing trumpet, it's to help her hear better. What even is, like, what do you mean a hearing? What even? Oh! Back to the synopsis. Everybody living at this retirement home, they're all elderly women, very eccentric cast of characters, I guess you could say. In the middle of meeting all of these people, Marianne gets swept away into the mystical story of a cross-dressing nun in pursuit of the goddess Venus's holy grail. What even? It all connects eventually, albeit haphazardly. An apocalypse. What? If that was confusing, don't prescribe it as any fault of mine. Okay, the book is actually just very confusing. If you guys have been paying attention to my TikTok at all, you know that I've been low-key going through a weird phase where I'm actually kind of obsessed with visual art. Like paintings and stuff. This has never been a thing for me. Leonora Carrington's name was brought up in Better Water Opera, which I talked about in my video, the Paris, Texas video. And since I was curious, of course, I'm a curious reader, always itching to learn a little bit more, I looked up Leonora Carrington's name. At first I thought that she was just a painter, so I was looking through all of her paintings. I was like, this is the most crazy stuff I've ever seen in my life. It reminded me the most of Dolly because that was like that was the closest connection that I had to any kind of surreal paintings. But then I started getting more into the surreal artists, and I was like, wow, they're like all friends hanging out together in France, and they were Moral of the story is that I became obsessed with Leonora Carrington. I just thought her style was so unique, a little bit unsettling. I would say unsettling to the point of darkness. Some of her paintings were unsettling to the point of darkness, but this book definitely carries the same spirit that she has in her paintings, but it feels unsettling to the point of light. It feels like a book of radical optimism, and I really wish Dua Lipa had a better album under that namesake, because that is such a good name, Dua Lipa Radical Optimism, but no, I feel like it was not very good. I was a fan of Dua Lipa before any of you guys were a fan of Dua Lipa. I don't know if that's something to be proud of. I don't think her music is that great, but I was. So I think I wanted to talk a little bit about her prose. Her prose, she's just so fucking crazy. She's so quirky, but I like the term endearingly absurd. Just little things. I brought up the buried treasure. Main character's best friend, Carmela, she's like, girl, I'm gonna miss you so much, so I'm gonna dig an underground tunnel from the retirement home to my place, and then we can hang out all the time. Like, what do you mean me? And while she's digging, she runs into a uranium mine, and in it she finds buried treasure. Like, what do you think? I feel like femininity is definitely at the forefront of this novel. It can be seen as a kind of mystic state of being. I don't know if I completely resonate with that as a philosophy, as a truth that I want to live by, but I do think it's a nice way of reframing the way that women had been seen in the past. I think she had written this in like 1950 and then it got published in like 74. It's a really nice way of reframing the feminine experience, reframing the feminine, like the way that the feminine is viewed, I guess, but it also is just like still othering. I've been having a lot of thoughts on like man versus woman, but then again, there are some like intersex characters in here. There's a trans character in here. So I do definitely feel like Carrington appreciates the kind of fluidity of gender and what that can be. I don't know, maybe I'm just being influenced by Olga Tokarczuk's afterword that she wrote in here. She was talking about how this book is very feminist, and I feel like yes, but also like, I don't know. It definitely gives a lot of power and voice to the elderly woman because it's at this point in life, society's like, what do we do with them? Let's just put them somewhere. Can feel a little bit less hopeful for us normal people as we age. It's like, oh, is this our future? I don't know if it's something that we should be particularly excited about, but I feel like this definitely feels like there is something to look forward to in the future. It's the eccentricity that can be granted to us with old age because we're just, I don't know, we're just inevitably going to be going against the grain. As we age, we're no longer going to conform, and Tokarczuk said something really cool in the afterword that I really appreciate, so I'm gonna read it out real quick with it. She said, while the whole center is noisily establishing its order like the normal society, with the young people probably, we shall remain on the periphery. We won't let ourselves be drawn into the center, we shall ignore it and surpass it. Thus, eccentricity is posited as a spontaneous, joyful rebellion against everything that's established and regarded as normal and self-evident. And I think that that's very inspiring. Something that you can see in Carrington's paintings, something that you can see in Carrington's books, but it's also just a great way to be living and a great truth to digest as you age. Guys, this is a very disjointed, my mind's all over the place. I feel like I visited like 13 different foreign lands just while talking about this book. I was talking about her prose and I completely forgot about that. Like, she just writes it as though it were fact, and that's what I find so funny about it because it's so absurd. Plot lines are so absurd. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? You collect the hair off of your cats when you grew them so that your friend can weave them into a sweater. What do you mean? That's so sweet. She writes intelligent observations with such humility. I feel like if anyone else were to go about writing the story, it would just come off as not representative of their true spirit. I feel like it would come off as pretentious. I don't know. But the way Carrington does it, it's just so sincere. A word to the wise person that may go about reading this book deviates, it twists and turns at no avail to the reader, but I think that's the joy of it. Know that you will not know. Know that you will not know what is going on or in which direction that it's going, because that's the joy of it. You just gotta sit back and let yourself be taken through this ride, because it is certainly a ride. It is a carnival. Gosh, I just also think there were so many valuable little tidbits hidden throughout this book. I did rate this book 4 stars. I don't know, maybe I should change it to a 5, but I feel like the meandering plot line that was like a little bit self-correcting was a little bit hard for me to follow, so it didn't hit the entire time. I feel like that's why I rated it 4 stars, but it was still transformative and like nothing I've ever read in my entire life, so I think that's all. I've been talking about this book for 20 minutes. Ooh, The Drawing of the Three by Stephen King. Hello, the second book in the Dark Tower series, sequel to The Gunslinger. We follow Roland again. Wait, let me do my one sentence and one word before I get into the synopsis. One sentence, I go. Okay, rugged gunslinger recruits 3 people from our world for his ragtag team in pursuit of the Dark Tower. That's also kind of the synopsis, so I feel like it's a little bit redundant there. I don't know, I was trying to come up with a way to summarize this in one sentence, but how can you do that with like one book in a fantasy series? It's a little bit hard. I don't read a lot of fantasy either, so maybe there is a way, but I haven't gotten used to it yet. Anyways, one word, dogged. You guys know what dogged means? I found it while looking up synonyms of resolute, but I feel like resolute wasn't exactly the right word, so I was like, let me find something else. Dogged is good. Definition, having or showing tenacity and grim persistence, because oh my god, the gunslinger gets his like toe bitten off, he gets his fingers like bitten off. I don't know how to explain this. Not very well versed in the fantasy genre, guys. Basically, our gunslinger finds himself washed up on a beach, housing these flesh-hungry, huge lobster creatures, which King calls lobstrosities. That's a really funny little word. Roland, the gunslinger, the main character, he's going through so much shit, bro. Literally in the beginning of the book, he gets his freaking fingers ripped off, bro. He's a gunslinger. How is he supposed to go pew pew pew? He can't. Oh my god, that's crazy. No, yes he can. He can. He figures out a way, but it's fine. No, this is the real start to the series. I appreciate the vibe setting that went on in book 1, The Gunslinger, because it's like, okay, we know where Roland came from, we know what his whole goal is and everything like that, but I didn't really like it very much. It's very fantastical, and I'm not fond of going into different worlds and learning the rules and regulations of that world. I feel like it's a lot of front-loading work for me that I don't enjoy. I know some people do enjoy that, because once you get past that hump, then you get completely lost in this world. It's like crazy level escapism. I find it to be tiresome. So that's why I didn't like book 1. On this island, I don't even know where he actually is, but like he's still in the fantasy world, but he gets washed up on a beach, was like, I don't know, some kind of island. On it, there are like 3 different doors that he has to find. He finds the first door, and the door is like, it opens into another world. And by another world, I mean our world. So I'm like, yes. I like that. I like my world. That's what I like. I don't know if I should go back explaining how all of this works and how he recruits these people from our world, but I think I will. If you find that to be a spoiler, which I don't really think it's a spoiler, but also it was fun to be able to discover how all this works by myself without having anybody told me before, you can skip to the next one, I guess. When Roland opens these 3 different doors, he gets to step inside of the eyes and the mind of one person on our Earth. He can basically embody them. He can rift through their mind, searching for things to find, or he can literally take over their body, and he can bring things back from that world, like our world, into his world. He was a little bit hungry, so he had a sandwich. I don't know, it's really fun. I think it stands great as just a standalone story too, even though it is like building up, revving up into something a little bit bigger. It's just really fun. I forgot the joy of what it's like to read a fantasy series. Forgot how slow it goes, and I forgot how many little hijinks you can have in, like, I don't know, and this is leading up to the big climax moment. It's fun! I haven't read a fantasy in really long, and my boyfriend is really happy that I'm actually finally reading this series. Because he loves this series. It's like one of his favorite books. Besides Mistborn, he's also trying to get me to read Mistborn, but I have to take things slow. I have to go one step at a time. What other stuff do I want to say? I want to say just an immersive, unputdownable journey this was. I find King's writing is best enjoyed in big mouthfuls. That is true. That is true. I'm saying to my own self that is true. But yeah, he rambles incessantly, and sometimes he just goes like on little roundabouts with his words and like, wait, what are you saying? What are you saying? You have to be fully attentive. Fully attentive through every roundabout to really enjoy the ride. I was sat, strapped down, buckled in, I was there. I really love the characters that were introduced in the story. Of course, I love that they came from our world, so that immediately made them more like relatable to me. They're just so full of dimension. I'm still unsure about how to feel about Odetta and Detta. I find that her character, I don't know, it's a very cool way. I just wasn't expecting that. The dichotomy between the two, though, very heart-wrenching. And the way that all the characters, they played on each other, it was very perfect, it was very natural. King just knows how to do it, so sorry for literally rereading my review to the camera, but sometimes there are things that I want to say that I feel like I should communicate succinctly, and it's better done when I'm actually reading off of a script. Yeah, but that's it. I'm really excited to keep reading this. I went back to the same half-price bookstore that I bought this from, and I found the 3rd book in the series. It's over there. Probably from the same owner. That owner didn't have the rest of the books though, so like, ugh, I'm kind of sad about that because I really like this beat-up edition. But that's it. that's that. I think that we should talk about the Flatshare next. Yeah? Thoughts on talking about the Flatshare next? This is a romance. One of my followers recommended this to me, which is so sweet. I think I know her name because I think she follows me on Goodreads. It might have been Maya. If it was you, Maya, thank you very much. I did enjoy this very much, and I think that it does stand out better in comparison to other romances that I've read, like in the contemporary space. I don't know. I don't read a lot of romances, so I'm trying to like understand what I like about romance. I read 2 romances this month. We'll get to the next one after that. This, it's fun. What I'm understanding about myself is that a rom-com is fun, guys, but I don't think it will ever have the prose that I really, really want that communicates that haunting primordial knowledge that your partner was going to be in your life from the moment you set eyes on them. It's good for the fun, and it always makes me emotional too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it has its purpose, and it fulfills its purpose, and I love it, and I enjoy it at the time being. So maybe I should stop complaining about this and just appreciate it for what it is. That's what I'm learning about myself. Synopsis. Wait, that's so wrong. I'm sorry. 1 sentence and 1 word. Okay, 1 sentence. Try not to fall in love with your roommate. Challenge impossible. And the word is heartwarming. I'm smiling thinking about this book right now. Like, look at me. It could be the Dayquil. I don't know. I was so much Dayquil. Basically, Tiffy is looking for cheap houses, and Leon is listing his apartment, but only for nights. So the weird thing about this, how it goes, like, he's working nights, so he's able to have the apartment to himself and sleep in the bed throughout the entire day. There's only 1 bed. He can sleep in the apartment throughout the entire day, and then he goes to work at nights, and that's when Tiffy comes home and she can sleep in the bed. They do sleep on separate sides, even though they never even sleep in the same bed together. Well, not in the beginning, of course. Oh my god, look at me. Why am I giggling like this? Dude, I'm sorry. So yeah, it's basically a bed share. They're just not sharing the bed at the same time. And then the 2, they end up leaving cute little notes to each other on Post-its and stuff. At first it's like, when is trash day? I don't remember. It's like, can you clean out the fridge? I don't know. I don't know if there was actually a clean out the fridge note, but something along the lines of that. The notes eventually start getting a little bit more personal, and they start developing a friendship with each other. It's really intimate. Before they even meet each other, once they do meet each other, it's like, I feel like I'm gonna have the least amount of things to say about this book. I feel like I started with the book that I had the most things to say with, so sorry if that was a little bit like, I'm sorry, I don't know, I feel like we kind of set the balance. I feel like I should have balanced it out a little bit better. I don't even know what I'm saying, but I found, I said it again. Beth O'Leary is the author of this book, and I think that her talents lay in mixing the light with the dark and still a very upbeat type airy way. Like, for example, Tiffy's ex-boyfriend, he was manipulative, keeps trying to come back into her life. Like, very scary, a little bit abusive, you know what I'm saying? And it's very interesting to see how after effects of Tiffy having to deal with a boyfriend like that manifests in the new relationship, if that makes sense at all. I think that that was very well done. It was poignant, it was nice. And then the same goes for the subplot with Leon's brother's indictment, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are really scary real life situations, but Beth O'Leary includes them in this story to still feel hopeful. Yeah, but like I said, I did still want some more unique prose in my romance, but you know what? Let me put this down because we got something. This month. Open Water by Azumah. I did actually take some written notes for this one, but let's first do 1 sentence and 1 word. Okay, Open Water. Sentence: suppressing your desires is logical but stupid. Ooh, that's fun. And then in a word, vulnerable. It was very vulnerable. And I have much to say about this book too. So kind of in that sentence, I was talking about suppressing your desires. That is definitely like the big thing about this book, and it manifests not only in romantic love, but it's also manifested in their relationship with their blackness, and it's so good. I just love the way, you know, he kind of sees these commonalities in between 2 completely different things and brings them together, and they kind of play with each other like that. It's beautiful. Narrated entirely in 2nd person, the main character loves at first sight a woman who is already in Count of 4. She has a boyfriend, but the 2 grow close anyway. They begin dating shortly after she breaks up with her boyfriend. Dude, it's as though these 2 are like primordially intertwined. That's the best word that I can have for this situation. It's primordial, bro. It's like they were destined to be each other. Be each other? To be with each other? Or even to be each other. Ooh, that kind of slip of words, I feel like that was a little bit profound. But will the main character's fear of vulnerability sabotage their relationship? That's a really good question, guys. Talking about romance, I was talking about blackness, and the way the 2 work together in this story is absolutely crazy, dude. So the way the main character suppresses his own voice for fear of how it may translate through a black body, and I love the way he says that, what the fuck. It shows up in his relationships too, like with this girl that he is so in love with, he's suppressing his emotions with her. Like, he does not communicate certain emotions to his partner out of fear that they will be weaponized against him. He's seen it before. There are instances in this book where we see stuff like that happening to another black person in this book, and it kind of it just transfers over. Like, the fear may be misplaced, but at the same time, is it wrong? Good question. Oh, the main character just has this belief that the world does not exactly want to see you in the way that you want to be seen, and lends itself to fear for being your true self. It's just woven so delicately together between the romance and between the blackness. It's like, hello! Prose is just delicious. I will say that it's not my favorite style ever, but it's still something that I can appreciate. Like, recently I just got into sushi. I did not like sushi before, but now I'm trying sushi. It's a little bit novel to me, and I really like that it's novel. I really like that it's new. It is kind of yummy. I don't know, it's not like my favorite thing in the entire world. That's what this feels like to me. It's novel, it's something that I've never quite seen done before in this way. And I mean, like, you have to appreciate it for that, because who else is doing it like this? Oftentimes I feel like some sentences were a bit verbose, but then I feel like in the next sentences coming up, he would kind of balance it out a little bit. Like, I don't know, it was like the writing was self-aware. It's like he was aware that he was doing too much in one sentence, so he really draws it back in the next sentence, and I'm like, okay, I guess I can't really complain. It's very interesting. And best of all, his prose takes itself very seriously. It's very refreshing, because, like, you don't get this in other romances, bro. In other romances, they're not taking it so seriously the way that he does. So poignant. He's like, oh my god, there are no words to describe how I feel about this woman, but I'm gonna try my best. And you can see that he's trying his best, bro. Love can be haunting, it can be overpowering, it can be all-consuming, and his prose really gets that across. So snaps for him. I can't snap. Snaps for him. That was the way that I needed to see romantic love written. So many great lines in this book, so many allusions to black art. Like, one was, if Beale Street could talk, and you guys know I just read that last month, so that was like really fresh on my mind. I was like, oh my god, I know what he's talking about. It's modern, it's gripping, it's vulnerable. Near the end of the book, I really started to understand that this was kind of just like a medium for the author to be able to communicate his love for his real life partner, because it's dedicated out to her. She's the last line of acknowledgments in the back of the book, which kind of references something that the main character was talking about throughout the book, which I brought up a little bit earlier, right? He says, as there aren't the words, but I won't stop trying. I'm going to die. I'm going to die right now, and there the tears go. And there the tears go. You can't see them on my face right now, but they're there. They were there when I finished this book. I mean, I recommend. This is also 4 stars, even though I also rated the other one a 4 stars. Dude, it's hard. Thinking of abandoning the star system, because yes, the Flatshare and Open Water, they were both 4 stars, but they have they got there in different ways. I have one more book to talk about. The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Jester. I'm gonna take a sip of my water. In one sentence, this is the only children's fantasy that hits just as hard as an adult, in my opinion. And then in one word, wordplay. I feel like wordplay is the biggest thing about this book, and that's what makes it so fun. If you're a word lover, you're gonna love this book. If you're just a silly little goose, you're gonna love this book. I can say that for sure. Got the Goodreads up, got my notes over here. It's a good day. Last time I read this book, it was in the 4th grade. It was also the first time that I read this book. From a child's perspective, this is audacious. It's fun, but it's understandable. You know what I'm saying? From an adult's perspective, however, it is a lens. It is a lens that caricatures the real world into near absurdity. These fictional policemen, these business owners, I'm sorry for looking at my notes so much, I just have things that I want to say to you like this, okay? The kings, the cabinet, they're all the most simplified versions of themselves. A Xerox of a Xerox, a BoJack Horseman reference, anybody get that? Anybody in the audience? Yeah, anyway. I find that now, with all of the supposed wisdom that I've gained from actually being in the real world, these depictions are most comedic. They're freaking hilarious, bro. I just find them so funny. You watch the King's Cabinet reiterate every single thing that the king says, just like over and over again. You watch the world's smallest giant and the world's tallest midget be actually the same person. It's just funny, it's quirky, it's silly. It reminds me of the Hearing Trumpet. This is nice. It's a little circle that we're finishing for ourselves right now. It's like the children's version of the Hearing Trumpet. Honestly, there are a lot of differences in between the two, but they both have the same kind of quirky, little mystical, almost fantastical type energy. So synopsis of this book: Milo, a sad young boy, receives a package on his doorstep housing this little device inside of it. What is this? This is a toll booth, a tiny little toll booth. And when he uses this, when it is activated, Milo finds himself escaping to a foreign land bloated with whimsy and wordplay. Wordplay? Dude, I always literally, whenever I typed the word wordplay, I would always say world play. Like I would type world, and now I'm saying it too. What is wrong with me? But ever since princesses Rhyme and Reason, and those are their names, have been exiled, then like this whole land has been kind of out of whack. This whole realm has been a little bit out of harmony. So Milo is the young boy that has to set on this journey with his ragtag group of creatures that he collects from this land to basically bring them back and bring harmony back into the world. And of course, on his adventure, he's whisked off by many strange people and many strange lands. It's fun and it's sweet. I saw people on Goodreads critiquing this book, saying that it has no plot. Well, what did I just say? Guys, you're not paying attention. Sorry you don't appreciate little side quests. Sorry you don't appreciate little side characters. Sorry for being a little bit defensive about this book. Also, if you read this and you don't like it, like I get it, it's fine. I'm very attached to this and it's very nostalgic for me. Can you see me freaking out right now? Because I am. Each character or side quest in this book, it's a little bit of commentary, at least I think. I'm really convinced that the Phantom Tollbooth is Norton Juster, the author's manifesto. Like, I'm so convinced, dude. There's so many tiny little tidbits, tiny little nuggets of valuable information that you could glean from this book if you're just paying enough attention. These characters, they're like reduced to their barest bones, so that you actually have to be clever enough to catch them before they fade to black. For example, the author seems to believe that less is more in writing. Speaking succinctly is better than yammering, but would I have caught that if I wasn't actively thinking about like each little character interaction meant, dude? I'm not sure. So many things in here about identity, about perspective, about belief systems, authority, about writing, like I was talking about here. Packs a punch so hard when you're an adult and you can actually understand everything this person is saying. When you're a kid, it's just like, oh, la-di-da. No, this is serious. Even though it's so silly, it's serious. And I feel like the silly medium is the best way to communicate serious stuff. Sometimes. Depends on what it actually is. But you know what I'm saying? Let me try to list off some other whimsical things that are going. Like, letters are food. There's a market. It's not a world market. It's a word market. And they're selling words. Even the letters are food. A, B, and C, they all have different tastes. The watchdog, which you can see is one of the main characters. The watchdog that comes on Milo's journey with him, he literally has a watch. A stopwatch in place of his torso. That is so silly. Everything is just so silly. The king is called King Azaz the Unabridged because he's so big. Like, what even, bro? And I didn't even tell you about the little illustrations in here. I was reminded of reading this book while I was reading The Hearing Trumpet, so I got this from the library. I was like, guys, let me find another. One more watchdog. Like, dude, I don't know. The spelling bee, and it's a literal bee, and it just spells words. This is so fun. Like, yes, this is a children's book, but also, no, it's not. Her. Love this book. I love this book. I love this book. I love this book. I love this book. And by the end of the story, little sad boy is not so sad anymore because he realizes there is so much beauty in literally everything, and everything is an opportunity to learn and to grow. Absurdity. This is really how you can find the beauty again, by just realizing how everything is actually so absurd. Make everything a caricature of itself, and then you'll realize that everything is a source of creation, of inspiration, of art. Okay, so I feel like I'm going a little bit crazy there, but this is the only book that I rated 5 stars. I don't know why I said that so weird. I was gonna say 4, but then I had to correct myself. 5 stars. Guys, I'm so sorry for being so crazy. I'm so crazy today, I can't take her anywhere. I almost dropped my laptop. I think we should take a deep breath. Feeling a little bit better now. I liked that book a lot. Feeling really zen right now. Okay, well, those are the 5 books that I read this month. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to me yammer off like crazy. What books did you read this month? If you actually, oh my gosh, if any of you guys read the same books that I read this month because some of you were asking for that, then oh my god, let me know if you have any thoughts on these books that you read. I love talking about this stuff, bro. It's just so fun. I do have some fun videos cooking up right now, some more neuroscience videos. I don't know why that has been really hard for me to like make recently, but it's just been so much energy, but I'm getting them out. I have some cool stuff coming. I hope you guys stick around. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and all those things. I love you guys so much. Thank you for following me. If you follow me from TikTok, that's awesome. If you subscribe me from like a regular YouTube, that's awesome.